Good evening from InvestSharp. This is Randy Smotone with your Friday, April the 16th market update. Of course, the big news of the day and causing the market sell-off was the SEC charged Goldman Sachs and one of its vice presidents with fraud over failing to disclose key information regarding mortgage-backed securities. So, of course, Goldman took a huge shot. And so that was the big drama of the day. And when news like that comes out and you don't know where it's headed and you don't know if there's gonna they're gonna charge other banks, you don't know what to do. I'm not in a big hurry to jump in and add to any trades here or investments, so we'll wait until next week, see how things play out. But we may hold here, who knows. So on the economic front today, we had the monthly housing starts, which were up 1.6% for March, and building permits were also up. The consumer sentiment number for April, though, came in lower than expected at 69.5. The estimate was for 75. So that wasn't too great. I'm sure that probably might have helped sell off. And then there's no real market moving economic data coming out Monday. So Monday should, other than everyone will have time to digest all the news that just come out and all kinds of new drama, I'm sure will start up Monday. So we did have Bank of America and GE reported this morning, and they both beat. Next week, Goldman Sachs will report, Citi will report, so everyone will be watching that. Dollar was up today, and gold, silver, copper, and oil were down. The commodities were beat up pretty bad today. So the light sweet crude futures were down $2.27 to settle at $83.24 a barrel. So we'll take a look at the dollar via the UUP, the ETF, and there was not a lot of buy. Even though the dollar went up today, it should have some resistance up here in this area. Maybe up a little higher, but there was no buying in the dollar today. Very low volume in the dollar, no interest there. So that makes me think that the dollar is going to probably turn back down and go a little lower, even though the MACD is leveling off. Go take a look at the West Texas Intermediate Crude Point and Figure chart. So basically now we've gone nowhere for the last I don't know, week or so. We broke out, we got up here, so we're bouncing between the now from 87ish to down here around the 83. So we've been up and down and up and pulled back, and so we're still consolidating around this area, and we still haven't actually taken out the printed like an 82 or anything and taken out the support area on oil, so it's still holding up so far. Let's go take a look at the Dow. So the Dow closed down 125 points to 11,018. So it held the 11,000 area. It was way off of its it was quite a ways off of its lows. It's got down to 10,973. So it was quite a ways off its lows. The S&P closed down 19 points to 1,192. NASDAQ closed down 34 points to 2481, and the Russell closed down 9 points to 714. The Dow held up the best by being down only 1.13%, so there was a little safety there in the large caps. And S&P had the largest percent loss at 1.61%, of course beating up the financials in the S&P. There was lots of volume across the indices today. Most of them had 2 to 3 times more than their average daily volume, depending on the index. So there was lots of activity, a lot of people bailing, and there are probably some buying dips, and who knows, I just don't know how they would think it's safe to buy a dip yet. Even though we haven't taken out this uptrend, trend line here. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So as you can tell, here's the Dow. So we still got this kind of uptrend line. It's still intact. We're still quite a ways from the 30. So I think we can have a little more downside. We may have a little up and then down, but right now it's trying to hold the 11,000, trying to hold this support area. We haven't, so the chart's not broken. It looks fine. S&P same way. We've been in this channel going up. It held it. Held it big time today, right around the take that off. Held around that 1,019-ish area. So we're still holding up. And the Nasdaq again holding up. still above the trend line. And like I said, we're still a ways from the 30. So we've got what? Even the 20 up here is, clear down to here. So we've kind of drifted quite a way. We needed a little pullback a little bit. We're getting quite a ways away from the 30-day moving average on pretty much all the indices. So, and then the Russell, same with the Russell. So everything's holding up. We'll see what next week brings us. Let's take a look at the gold. Gold came back, got support of the this downtrend line here where we had broken out of the triangle. So again, gold is so far is holding up here. It was trying to hold here at this 1,000 or not 1,000 $112 and about 50-cent area, but we broke that. But we got caught here. So gold's looking fine so far. And silver, same way. Silver, it's come down, bounced off this where the downtrend line was, where it had originally gapped up and broken out, filled this gap. Copper ETF JJC. It had support here around this 48.25 or so. Broke that. Pretty heavy selling here. It does have this uptrend line around this 47 to 47.50 here, which could be some support, and of course it should have some support right around this 47 or so too. So we'll see what copper does, but there definitely was some selling of copper. Look at the XLF. XLF don't look so hot. XLF is, you touched here and touched it here. It broke its uptrend line on the financials. Tons of selling. Everybody's, no one ever. A lot of people that had been buying on the way, I'm sure, was trying to get profits. I know I sold a few things, trying to reduce positions, and especially things that were, profitable, so I'd have less exposure in the market, and things that broke the trend lines today I sold for losses. So what else we got? We got let's see, the VIX volatility index. Well, we got volatility back. It was up 15.54%, and as we're closed at, it went flying. So people were buying puts. Of course, it starts getting expensive but we're still got a low enough volatility you could still do it. So broke above this, the downtrend line here, this little trend line, and the MACD is turning back up on volatility. Let's go take a look at the ES, which is the futures for the S&P 500 E-mini. I was talking about this channel that started back in March. We were in it, and I had talked about last night where we actually got out of the channel. We come back down up here, and of course I was talking about this bearish divergence I was seeing, and it kind of gave it away that we were going to have a pullback on. And so we broke back through it, and we broke this uptrend line because we had an uptrend line back from April the 8th to April 13th, and then of course here the 16th. So we broke it, the red one, come back down, and then we've got support here right around the 1185 on the futures, and also the and it also come down, and you see we bounced off the channel, the bottom line of the channel. So the bottom line of this channel held the support just like it has there back on April the 8th, and and back here in March 28th. So this and through here too. So we'll see if we continue to hold that. If we break the 1,180 or so on the futures, 1,185 to 1,180, I would assume there'll be more downside. So you'll be watching for that. It definitely did, it tried to catch itself, and we did have a little pop up. We'll see how high we can go up. Probably going to definitely have resistance up here around the 1,200 area on the futures. So we'll watch that in next week. Let's go look at the sectors. All 16 sectors we follow finished in the red today. The healthcare index held up the best by being down only 0.57%. And the internet index was the weakest, down 6.57%, which was here, which is mostly Google. Google was down well over 7% today, so that had a lot to do with it. So, of course, there's no chart watch on Fridays. We'll post my weekly watch list on Sunday evening. And oh, let's look at the McClellan. Forgot. McClellan. So now we're minus 29. So we're getting into the oversold. We're not really oversold yet. We need to really get down into here, minus 40 to minus 80 area. But we're starting, so we definitely can have some more downside before we're oversold. So we'll be watching that. And over to the current market signals. And of course, there's no change today. We'd have to sell off a lot to go on sell signals on the Dow, Nasdaq, S&P, and Russell. So we didn't really, wasn't that much damage done today. So we'll see how next week plays out, the next few days, and kind of get an idea for where the market's headed short term. All right, that's it for today. Have a great weekend, and thanks for watching.